Rabbit Hole Roundup, episode 54. New year, new opportunities. So guys, in today's edition of the Rabbit Hole Roundup, I'm full of wisdom and full of nuggets of inspiration that are going to help guide you guys into this new year, which I know for all my fellow truth seekers is not actually supposed to be on this day, but that's how they want it to be, so we're going to do our best to manifest greatness in this new year. First, I'm going to be talking about Sam Tripoli going on Roseanne Barr's podcast recently, and her whole awakening process as well, and what this actually shows us, as well as some super powerful wisdom that Sam gives on the episode. I also have a really powerful Giannis Antetekounmpo clip talking about
Giannis Antetekounmpo
focusing on growth and progress every year versus perfection. I have a topic from the Union of the Unwanted podcast talking about the straight A conspiracy, which is very interesting. I'm also going to be giving my take on the whole final experiment stuff, without getting into the whole chaos that's ensued in the whole truther community. I'm not about that division. I'm all about protecting my own inner peace.
Inner peace.
But having said that, I do want to give my take on it. I also have a super powerful clip from one of my all-time favorite rappers, Russ, as well as a clip from Mr. Shoots, my favorite TikTok teacher, and a very interesting and powerful Scottie Pippen post. So you guys aren't going to want to miss this. Without further ado, let's dive deeper now. Rabbit hole time, let's go. Last one of the year.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Jared Weiss. If you guys didn't know, that must mean you're not subscribed to the channel so you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, be sure to leave a like, drop a comment, let me know your thoughts on this video. Follow me on every platform, and if you guys haven't done so already, make sure to check out my book, Fight Through by Jared Weiss. All links purchased are on my website, which is jaredbryanweiss.com. That's JAREDRYANWEISS. That was not supposed to happen. Website is JAREDRYANWEISS.com. Buy the book, support me. Any support is very much appreciated. So, to kick things off in this episode, I want to talk about Sam Tripoli going on Roseanne Barr's podcast recently. And he made a very powerful point, which is full of wisdom, when he said that the things that hurt you as a child can actually help you as an adult. It all comes down to how you perceive it and how you use it. As I've spoken about in the past, your past can either break you or it could shape you. Some people are going to use their childhood traumas as reasons or excuses as to why they can't be successful in life. Whereas others of us are able to use this as an opportunity to grow and shape us into the person who we're meant to become. Everyone goes through things in our lives. We all go through trauma, we all go through challenges, and of course, the degree of this trauma is going to differ individually for every one of us. But the question is, how are we going to respond? When life hits, when things don't always go as planned, how are we going to respond to them? Are we going to use this as an opportunity to grow from this and learn from it? Or are we going to crumble and allow our circumstances to win over us? Now, another powerful piece I wanted to address from this podcast was how whether or not you believe everyone's controlled, everyone in Hollywood is all controlled, there's no chance of redemption for any of them. They're all a bunch of shapeshifters and a bunch of evil, satanic, you-know-whats. And of course, in a lot of cases, that is true. But if you actually listen to Roseanne now, I think this is actually proof that even celebrities are capable of evolving and changing, or at the very least, are capable of providing wisdom for us, and are capable of giving us things and giving us lessons to learn from. And even if someone doesn't get everything right, we can still listen to and focus on what they do and discard the rest. That's why I've actually decided to stop worrying about this whole who's control opposition, who's not. I prefer to use my own discernment, and I prefer to learn from everyone. Even the worst people have lessons we could learn from them. And by avoiding these, you're actually going to be missing out on valuable opportunities. Next up, another very powerful topic I want to get into is how Ricky from the Union of the Unwanted podcast recently was talking about this idea of the straight A conspiracy, which is that they actually did this one experiment. I'm not sure when exactly it was, but early on in their whole education, a bunch of kids were asked whether or not they consider themselves to be creative. And early on, the vast majority of them said yes, they did consider themselves to be creative. But then by the end of high school, all these kids were asked again whether or not they consider themselves to be creative, and most of them actually said no.
You know what? You're a criminal, because you rob these kids of their creativity and their passion. That's the real crime.
So what's the issue with this? It's that getting straight A's and being successful in school doesn't actually lead us towards our passions oftentimes, and it doesn't actually lead us towards creativity, being a good artist, being a good athlete, following your passion, working on your craft, etc., etc. When meanwhile, most of us actually do value these things. And keep in mind, once again, this is coming from someone who always was very successful in school in spite of not liking it. But I do see this as a massive problem when the school system isn't encouraging creativity and is actually discouraging it as shown by these kids who no longer consider themselves to be creative and who basically stop using their imagination by the time they get to high school and just become worker bees and robots.
You'll stay in the job that you pick for the rest of your life.
What if, as I spoke about during my last 2 Hard Truths episodes, what if we actually had an education system that actually prioritized following your passions? What if we actually had an education system that prioritized following your dreams versus always teaching to every test? What if we actually had true learning and inspired true learning versus creating simply just a class of robots who are simply able to do as they're told without being able to do anything beyond that and without actually being able to think outside the box? So the next topic I want to get into is the whole final experiment stuff. For those of you who are in the truther community, or even a bunch of you who aren't, I'm sure a lot of us are familiar with the whole experiment that occurred recently where I'm pretty sure it was like 2 of the most famous flat earthers went to Antarctica and observed the 24-hour sun, and this has caused the whole chaos in the whole truther community, as well as all the globe people are considering this to be proof that the globe is real. Now, as many of you know by now, I am someone who believes in a flat earth. I believe that we are on a flat stationary plane. I don't believe any images from space have ever actually been real. I believe that NASA is not a space agency, and you guys could check out some of my other videos talking about this. But, at the very least, I don't believe in the whole spinning ball model. Now, I am open to being proven wrong, I am open to new evidence, etc., etc. But, when it comes to this whole final experiment stuff, which has lit a whole fire and caused chaos in the whole truther community because everyone's calling everyone control opposition.
Have you all gone mad?
The experiment didn't happen. These people are all secret society Freemasons. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know these people. Let's just say the experiment did actually happen and it actually was conducted honestly, which once again, I don't know. I'm not sure. I also don't think that this experiment proves the whole spinning ball or glow model. I actually believe that that model has actually been disproven so many times before this.
Fake.
But if this experiment was true, all it means is that the current model of the flat earth is inaccurate. But doesn't mean that any other models have to be wrong too. Maybe we don't actually know the shape of the earth. Maybe it's something we're actually not supposed to know. Something else to keep in mind is that the lights in the sky don't prove anything about the floor. And once again, I'm open to being proven wrong, even though I still believe that we are in fact on a flat stationary plane, possibly even within a whole holographic universe type thing. I do believe there's a lot more land beyond the ice wall, beyond what we've been shown. And once again, I'm open to being proven wrong, but this experiment, even if it was conducted honestly, even though I've heard some people say there was a green screen on, or the people who went there are all control opposition, or they're all Freemasons, I don't know. But this experiment doesn't show anything when it comes to motion of the earth, it doesn't show anything with regards to curvature of the earth, so all this simply could mean is just that it's time to update the map. If this was done properly, does this change that water still can't curve, and that water always seeks its level? Does it change the fact that we've never seen a legit picture of Earth from space? Could this possibly even be an indication of the hollow Earth theory? I don't know. I'm always questioning everything and staying open-minded, because the issue is, as soon as you start to think that you have all the answers and that you have the ultimate truth and everyone else has to be wrong, that's when you become exactly like the other side.
But I'm better than you, and you know it!
Could this also indicate a second sun and more land? I don't know. Maybe. But to be clear, I'm not with this whole constant judgment or looking at people's hand signals or looking at people's clothes. What I'm more concerned with is what are everyone's intentions, and are they actually being true to their beliefs? Even if we disagree, can we do so respectfully? Can we understand that none of us has all the answers and none of us is the ultimate arbiter of truth? I'm not a fan of where I'm seeing this whole truth community headed, especially based on where it started.
I'm not happy about this.
Because I actually think most of it started out with genuine intentions to help people realize their own power. But recently it's turned into, I'm right, you're wrong, you're my enemy, you're controlled, we're not allowed to disagree, or if we do, then you must be brainwashed. I'm not for all that. I'm for keeping my own peace, and I'm for spreading more love and positivity in the world. And on this point, I actually want to share a clip from Owen Benjamin talking about this topic of the whole final experiment, because I actually think he made some really good points. And once again, he's actually someone who I don't always agree with. I don't like how he handled the whole Sam Tripoli controversy between them two. I don't like how he's always attacking people. But once again, I can disagree with people respectfully. And I can also acknowledge where people are making good points, even if I don't agree with everything they're saying.
Weigh in on the wits it gets at Jaren, Antarctica 24-hour sun. Cat. I find it super interesting because if there is a 24-hour visible sun, then that means the current flat earth model can't be true. And I know that's going to bother some people, but I didn't start analyzing this stuff to just jump on another model that can't be true. The globe model has already been debunked, in my opinion. And I know that's going to infuriate and make people angry, but it has. It can't be what's claimed. And now, if you can see a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, the flat Earth model can't be true. Like the one with one sun, one moon, going around, blah, blah, blah. And that's fine. Like, the idea that you can't just not know and just analyze, to me, is wild, because Adam Green was writing to me. He's like, he's like, you're talking to these grifters. It's a bad look to support. I'm like, dude, it's a bad look to support NASA that tells little kids that they're spinning in an infinite void in chaos on a speck of dust, and they're genetic accidents, and everything is going to cool to infinite black and nothingness. I'm like, that's literally abuse. And I got into this type of stuff when I realized that it wasn't even true. I like tough truth. I like hard truth. I like saying the thing that's true, even if it hurts your feelings. And that's why I used to be into evolution and astronomy and all that stuff, because I was like, well, if it's true, it's true. It's not. You can show that their claims about the globe are impossible. There's no evidence of a curve or a spin. There isn't. All the evidence they claim that they had, you can actually show isn't possible. And once that happened, I realized that all of that mind control stuff about how insignificant people are and how we're in mammon spinning in empty chaos is just so nuts. But that being said, that doesn't mean to just jump on another dogma. It doesn't mean to just say, because I never got into it because of the Bible, because now a lot of flat earthers are saying, oh, but the Bible says. I just thought it was fascinating that the Bible could be right when the science was wrong. But no, I mean, if there's no 24-hour sun, that isn't what it is. I mean, if there is a 24-hour sun, and there's no shame in admitting that. I think there's a lot more shame in not admitting that. Now, I think it's strange to have Wi-Fi in Antarctica, but it doesn't take away any of the other claims. There is an Antarctic Treaty. Antarctica is not traversed by commercial aircraft. The excuses for it are ridiculous. But if you have people that you trust in Antarctica looking at a sun, now there's something called a false binary fallacy, where it's tastes great, less filling. Oh, that means it has to be the globe. No, it doesn't. Not even close. Being expected to falsify someone else's claim is also a fallacy. Even though you can disprove globe Earth, like you can. That's why there's so many flat earthers, because the globe Earth model isn't true. And the globe Earth model, a lot of the people pushing it think they're doing good. And I will say this.
All right, so you guys definitely get what he's saying. It's the idea that just because one thing is true, or just because one model has been disproven, doesn't mean like the other model isn't necessarily true either. I mean, once again, I'm not sure like how this experiment was done, but like I do think that it's important to stay open-minded and to realize that our past beliefs need to always be in question, and we don't want to fall into this whole false binary. So could this indicate a totally new model needs to be made? Maybe. I don't know. But all I'm saying is to hear everyone out, hear all sides, and we have to stop with this whole attacking people just because they disagree with us on anything. Next, we have a very powerful Giannis Antetekounmpo clip talking about making progress every year as opposed to focusing on the end goal, and as opposed to considering a year where some things don't go well as a loss or a failure.
Do you view this season as a failure?
Do you get a promotion every year on your job? No, right? So every year you work is a failure. Yes or no? No. Every year you work towards something, towards a goal, right? Which is to get a promotion, to be able to take care of your family, to be able, provide the house for them or take care of your parents. You work towards a goal. It's not a failure. It's steps to success. There's always steps to it. Michael Jordan played 15 years, won 6 championships. The other 9 years was a failure? That's what you're telling me? No, I'm asking you a question. Yes or no? Okay, exactly. So why are you asking me that question? It's a wrong question. There's no failure. You know, there's good days, bad days. Some days you are able to be successful, some days you're not. Some days it's your turn, some days it's not your turn. You don't always win. Some other people's gonna win. And this year, somebody else is gonna win. Simple as that. We're gonna come back next year, try to be better, try to build good habits. Hopefully we can win a championship.
This is so powerful, and this wisdom right here is honestly so well said, because not every day is gonna be a championship win for us or for the top athletes. Everything is about steps to success, and every day that you're working towards your dreams, that you're on your journey, you're building towards something, even if you have to take 2 steps back to take 3 steps forward, you're working on something. So this brings me back to one of my all-time favorite quotes, which is, I either win or I learn. And in the grand scheme of things, if you could accumulate more good days than bad days, you're gonna make progress. So focus on progress, not perfection. I'm a perfectionist, so I need this message for myself, but focus on the journey, work towards something, not only being concerned about the end destination. Next up, I have a very powerful Russ clip. Russ being one of the best independent rappers, who focuses on his craft and focuses on putting out really good message to the world, I think. For the most part, at least.
As an artist, you can either inspire people to self-destruct or you can inspire people to self-improve, you know? And I think a lot of the music coming out right now is inspiring you to self-destruct. You know, it's the glorification of self-destruction. And I get that
Oh, that's interesting, yeah.
Yeah, and I get that in America, we're the #1 exporter of entertainment, and the most entertaining thing in the world is to watch somebody destroy their life, you know? If it happens all the time, it's not newsworthy.
Yeah.
And so then at that point, now you're getting these absurd, rare, lightning in a bottle things, and those are the only things that are newsworthy. But now that they're on the news, and they're repeatedly on the news, now people think that they happen all the time.
Exactly.
That's the issue with everything, right?
Yeah.
Even within trying to blow up as a rapper, a lot of people think, one of this is like a law of power, which is like creating a spectacle, right? That's what that is.
Yeah.
And it's like, to your point, well, 10 years ago, the spectacle would have been this level of absurdity. But now we've seen that. So now we need this level.
Yeah.
Well, now we've seen that. And so now it just keeps getting more and more absurd.
Yeah.
And what you end up doing is you desensitize people to absurdity.
Yeah.
And so they don't realize how insane this thing is that you're watching.
Yeah.
Because you've gradually gotten numb to the bullshit.
Very powerful message for any content creators, or for any musicians out there, or for any artists out there. The algorithms, unfortunately, are always going to be promoting people who are self-destructing or who are doing low vibrational activities, but if you actually do things the right way. Yes, it may take you longer to reach that success.
How long is this going to take?
You're not going to go viral as often, but I would much rather do things the right way and inspire people to succeed rather than self-destruct. I see this all the time. I see all these other content creators out there who blow up getting millions of views while not actually helping people.
I got a lot of problems with you people.
I'm not actually inspiring any true positive changes in other people's lives, but it could even just be complaining about something in their lives without actually giving any solutions. Or it could be something as simple as focusing on materialism and getting millions of views and millions of dollars that way. But in the end, you're gonna crash and self-burn. Whereas if you actually inspire people to build on things, do things the right way, even if it may take longer, you're gonna achieve the ultimate success and the ultimate happiness in the end, and it's not gonna feel empty. So for all my content creators or all my musicians out there, think about this with every post you make. Can this actually help someone out there? Or am I just contributing to all the cultural problems that aren't getting any better?
Debauchery!
Next up, I have a very powerful Scottie Pippen post. Scottie Pippen being Michael Jordan's running mate for all those years with the Chicago Bulls, won 6 championships. But I came across this post the other day that talks about working hard in the dark so that this week could shine in the light, basically. So it says, Usain Bolt trained for 20 years. You saw him for 9.58 seconds. Kobe Bryant made 1,000 shots a day during practice. You saw the 5-time NBA champion. Pablo Picasso created over 50,000 works of art. You saw the man who defined modern art. Thomas Edison tested 1,000 prototypes before inventing the light bulb. You saw the man who lit up the world. What you do when nobody's watching will define what they see when everyone is. Just because the world doesn't see your greatness yet doesn't mean it's not there. Keep going. So as I'm always saying, great things take time and nothing worth having comes easy. But if for all these super famous people, all the masters in their craft, if you're only seeing the highlights, you're not going to be seeing all the work that went into that. And this is where sometimes social media can deceive us, because we only see the highlights of people's lives, oftentimes. So this may trick us into thinking, that person didn't struggle at all to get to where they are. That person didn't have to work hard every day, grind hard, and go through tons of failure in order to reach that end goal. But as he closes that post off with, Just because the world isn't to your greatness right now, doesn't mean it's not there, so keep going. And finally in this episode, we have a clip from my favorite TikTok teacher, who's so positive and so inspiring, Mr. Shoots. And as I've said in the past, one of my main goals on social media is to highlight the good in the world, to amplify and focus on what's good and what's right. Because as far as I see it, there's two ways I could go about doing my content. On the one hand, I could focus on everything that's wrong and I could expose people and do all that. And of course, is that part of my content? Yes. But I would rather keep the main focus on amplifying the good and amplifying the positive, amplifying the people who are doing right in the world, and showing people that, like, in spite of all the darkness, there are all these lights out there too. So let's watch together. Very powerful lesson here.
So at the end of my SEL lesson today, I handed each one of my students a note card. On one side, I wanted them to write down one thing they loved about themselves. On the other, I wanted them to write down one thing they wish they could change about themselves. They didn't write their names on it, so it's completely anonymous, and I told them to be 100% honest about what they wrote. And boy, did they. Here's what some of them had to say. I love that I'm good at sports, and I'm kind, and I look out for others. But I wish I could change the fact that I worry about what I look like. I love my humor, and I love being with my friends. But I wish I could change my fat face and my ears. One thing that I love about myself is that I'm very good at sports too. But I wish I could stand up for myself and tell somebody how I feel without covering it up with a smile. I love how I dance, and that is the only sport I haven't quit. But something I wish I could change about myself is how judgy I am. I wish I didn't judge people so much, but it's a habit, and a bad one. I wish I could just read the pages before I judge the cover. I love my sense of humor, but I wish I could change my weight. I love how I can draw really good. My drawings make me happy when I get sad. But I hate how mad I can easily get, but I don't show it. Sometimes I feel so mad all over, and it's all over something little, and I feel like I can't express my feelings to anybody. I love that I'm me, but I wish I could change the fact that I want more friends. I love that I'm funny, but I wish I were smarter. I tell you what, these kids are wise beyond their years, but it also reminds me that even though they're 10 and 11 years old, they all might have something going on that I don't know about.
So remember, this is coming from 10 and 11-year-olds. This is coming from 5th graders. But like, how many of us are over judgmental of ourselves? How many of us are going through things that no one else knows about, but we keep pushing onward? So like, this is why my message is to be kind to everyone, treat others right, treat others respectfully, smile at others when you can, give them compliments, and hopefully in this new year, we can actually all be less judgmental towards ourselves, more kind to ourselves, and in turn this is going to radiate out towards the world and towards others as well. Anyways guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, make sure to leave a comment, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, buy the book. I will catch you guys in the next episode. I will catch you guys in the new year. Stay positive, stay hustling, stay grinding. Be kind to yourselves and be kind to others. Love you guys. Peace.